Hey, welcome to Tiny House and Off-Grid Resources from New Zealand. It's week 5, I think, of lockdown, and I've been asked to take part in a live video broadcast of a virtual campout in our own gardens. My phone won't let me go live on Facebook. I've discovered that I can't load the Facebook app onto my phone, so I can't go live. This is the next best thing. I'm recording this in the morning and I'll load it this afternoon so we can pretend that we're live. But I'm going to give you a little walk around my self-built Stealthdrop camper. One of the biggest features of this camper that most people make a fuss of is the gullwing door. The gullwing door was made by me. It cost me $50 to make. The window is tinted and it opens, and the window is from this old ute canopy here, which I got for $50 and has got 4 perfectly usable windows. But anyway, let's crack it open and have a look inside. Inside we've got an unmade bed, a pile of camping gear. We've got a fully charged battery because on the roof I've got 200 watts of solar. I've got little storage cubbies up and down here for all my knickknacks. Inside this camper I've got the ability to stand up, almost. I'm a shorty. I'm only 5'8". This is 5'5", so I can stand in here with a little stoop. I've got some little clothing cubicles up here, and at the back you'll see there's an interesting arrangement of panels that appear to be just lying here, but they form the cubicle that extends the sleeping area when I'm camped up. I'll get those out shortly so you can have a look at how the system works. Because the construction of this thing is insulated cool store paneling, I've got fabulous insulation, and I've also got the benefit of having a magnetic interior, so I can put random lights wherever I need them for whatever need I have at the time. But I do have permanently mounted lights. Up in here I've got a strip light that is mounted around the inside of the ventilated roof fan. I can turn on the fan or the lights separately. Other little features I've got here, I've got a 12-volt cigarette lighter port and 2 USB ports that are ready to go in here. Numerous switches for all of the lights inside and outside, and plus also one of these is a master switch for the front box, which has got heavy cables running towards it, so that when I'm rich and I can afford a fridge, I'll be able to put a 12-volt fridge in there. Moving outside and coming around towards the front, I've got a box on the front that is not part of the main cabin. You can see here that there's a division. That's so that if I choose to, I can remove this entire front box and replace it with a motorcycle rack, and I can run my 250 dirt bike up there and carry a dirt bike. On the front box, I've got an axe and a chainsaw ready to go on the outside. I've also got a shovel for burying poos. Inside my box, everything that you would use on a normal weekend's camping. There's bug spray, there's spare guy ropes, there's spare water, a spare stove, there's camping chairs, there are 2 or 3 big shade sails, a roll of gaffer tape, raincoats, all the things that you would need or might not need, but it's good to have them here anyway. Down here I've got two 20-litre jerry cans full of fresh water. Inside under the bed there's also another 40 litres of potable water. At the moment I'm not carrying a waste tank, but one day I will be putting a waste tank in. Both of these cupboards are closable for when I'm travelling by using the permanent latches, but when I'm only camping and I want to be able to come and go, I use a magnet system. So these are only held shut by magnets and can be opened up by any of the kids. Inside here I've got a high quality cooler until I can afford a 12-volt camping refrigerator, and on top I've got cool storage for vegetables. This is an insulated cupboard, so it's cool anyway, but inside here I've got the slide out, which allows me access to all of my food. And on the other side of the doorway here is my kitchen. So we'll open up the kitchen, let you have a little peruse inside there. The kitchen is divided up into small compartments to keep everything just where I need it. All my cutlery and crockery are stored down the bottom. In this little cubicle here I've got the remotes for my LED strip lights so that I can change the colour or change the pattern of the lights while without leaving my chair. Here's a handy little thermometer that tells me it's 72 degrees, 22 degrees Celsius, right next to a duplicate of the internal charging panel. Once again, I've got two more USB outlets and another 12-volt receptacle for cigarette lighter things. Here's the switch that gives me a nice concealed light up in here, which gives me just enough light to be getting things out of the cupboard by. These two units control the lights. Those are what these little remotes talk to. And the white one is able to pulse the lights in time with any music that I've got playing through my Bluetooth speaker, which sits in here. And because it sits in a wee cupboard, it belts out the sounds. So there's my kitchen. Wait a minute. Where does he cook? Where does he put things down? It's all in here. Underneath here I've got another little bit of storage for random items. This is my windshield for my stove. Let's put that over there for now while I bring out the kitchen bench. Here's the kitchen bench with its extension. And this stove, no gas lines, no gas bottles, no certification, no random explosions. I don't like LPG gas, propane, so I'm using meths burners. These three meths burners can be placed wherever I need them. Two underneath the frying pan is great for searing a steak. One by itself will give an awesome 15-minute simmer. 1 tablespoon of meths is enough to boil the kettle for 2 mugs of hot drink. So it's very, very economical. You can see that these meths burners are made from beer cans. Top half of a beer can, bottom half of a beer can, pushed inside each other, holes drilled around the outside. These produce a flame just like a gas burner. If you want to know more about these, there's a video on my YouTube channel that explains exactly how you can make your own and start cooking with denatured alcohol, methylated spirits. It's just as fast as gas and a whole lot safer. My heat shield can be placed around it and changed for whichever way the wind is approaching from, and I can do my cooking there, and I've got an area here for doing prep work. My trailer has got self-built A-arm off-road suspension using Subaru Forester rear shocks, which work out just perfectly for the weight of this and only cost me $60 for the 2 units. It's got electric brakes, which is awesome because they're Bluetooth controlled and can be adjusted from inside the vehicle. So if I find that I'm on a slippery downhill clay track, I can turn up the braking on the trailer so that if I do hit the brakes, the trailer's not going to come round and jackknife onto the tow vehicle. Underneath, I've got these heavy duty lift up telescopic supports that take the rock out of the vehicle when we're camping. And down the front on the tow bar, you'll see that it's equipped with a handbrake so that I can secure the thing when I drive away with the vehicle. It's got a heavy duty, high articulation off-road multi-fit coupling made by a company here in New Zealand called Trail Parts. I buy all my trailer equipment from these guys because, quite simply, they have the lot. They have great service and the prices are very sharp. The chassis itself is galvanized 2x3 box section. It has 2 main rails that go all the way from the coupling right through the entire structure to the recovery points at the rear. The drawbar is not a separate part. I work on trailers. I build trailers for a living. One of the biggest and most common failures that a trailer can have is losing its drawbar. I've seen that. I'm using this as a backdrop. Other jobs that are taking up my time are the paint prep on the bonnet. Yep, you've got to sand round every single rivet on a Landrover, otherwise your paint job looks awful. I've just finished sandblasting and doing the rust repairs on the bulkhead, the firewall, waiting for paint now so that I can hit that with its final colour. Then I'll be getting into the rest of it. Over here, 2 front guards, all prepped up and almost ready for paint. A little bit more work on those. And stashed in a corner over here are my doors and my windows and all of the little bolt-on parts, all of the little things that make up a vehicle, the mirrors, the pedals, the seats. Everything's put away, ready to reassemble when it's been painted. But hey, this is what we came to see. The camper trailer is a mixture of so many other people's builds, plus a few of my own ideas. I built it last winter. It took me 3 months to build. I built it out in the yard in the most awful weather. It could have been done a lot faster if I could have worked inside in a building. If you're interested in the build of this thing, have a look on my YouTube channel, Tiny House and Off-Grid Resources. There are lots of videos that show every single part of the build. Now, aside from that gullwing door, I think the second most talked about feature of my camper is that it's not long enough to sleep in. Unless you do this one simple thing. Now, although it's got a big enough bed for one person to sleep diagonally in it, by opening up this back piece, you can pull the mattress into here and create a full 2 metre 7 foot bed. Just takes a couple of minutes. These bolts hold it all rigidly in place once it's dropped into position. It's 2 foot longer, 600mm, and then inside I've got a panel that's stored underneath the mattress, and that just gets slid into place. I've got little gaps in each corner, but I did glue PVC flexible strips on the outside, which were doing a lovely job of blocking those up from rain, but the hot sun during the summer took its toll on the glue and they failed, so I've got to find better glue for them. In this wee cupboard here I keep all my toys. Compound bow, hunting rifle, fishing rod, anything that's long. Metal detector and tent poles. Must show you the compound bow. Absolutely great for a bit of stealth hunting. So these little colour coordinated bags, I've got a commercial sewing machine over there in the shed, and honestly I've got tools for everything from sandblasting equipment to painting equipment, commercial sewing equipment, welding. My place is an awesome base for getting into projects. Come with me around the other side and I'll show you what's in the matching cupboards on the far side. On this side, more of the same. This is the same cupboard with just access from the other end. But in here, bathroom, laundry, toilet. Sawdust for the composting toilet. A handy 12-volt plug-in camping shower arrangement. When this is finished, it's going to hook up here, and there's another trick to show you there in just a moment. Aside from that, I've got a wastewater tumbler and a grunty fire extinguisher, because hey, you never know. Now here's an idea that I got from Wesley from Shawnee Hills Ranch. Wesley's got his own YouTube channel, and he too has done a build on a very similar trailer to what I've built here, and his best idea in my opinion was the shower enclosure made from a gun case. I haven't made my internals yet, but it's going to be fairly much the same as Wesley's. I'll be following Wesley's build instructions fairly closely, with one exception. My gun case is a little longer than his, so that's going to give me extra room in the end for me to put my shower fittings and shower hoses all bundled up in here, out of the way, and that when it's opened will come down into the corner of my shower room. If you're watching this on Facebook, that's because Louis Pistelli from the Squaredrop Camper Facebook page decided to have another of his virtual campout weekends. Because we're all locked down, we can't go camping, he's giving us a chance to get all our toys out and have a virtual camp in our own yards. And if you're watching this on YouTube, that means you've just come to the end of another one of my tiny house and off-grid resources videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. No, you'll see me in the next video, because you'll be watching. You know what I mean.